What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Socially Awkward Podcast. My name is Adam. I'm back again with my friends Ryan and Lyndon. How you guys doing today?
Doing pretty good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing great, man. I'm actually excited to talk about men's mental health. You know, like this is one of those topics that you could actually bring up a lot. You know, I know Joe Rogan brings up fucking elk meat and hunting a lot. It's like this is one of those things that you can bring up all the time, and just it's just like it gives men something to talk about. You know what I mean?
Talk about hold on.
Elk meat and hunting.
Just roll past that like elk meat and hunting, random shit.
Elk meat and hunting.
You guys obviously don't listen to Joe Rogan, or you know exactly what that'd be.
I know. Honestly, we know, but you just saying it's like, oh, we ain't gonna just simply roll past it.
It's not the only thing he talks about. Joe Rogan's only talking about elk meat and hunting.
And I'm sorry, and he talks about DMT.
Dude, why are we all color coordinated? And
we're all wearing black.
Why is that?
Hey, what are the odds that black is the men's mental health color? No way, right? No. I'm just that'd be real. I don't think that'd be some serendipity shit. If it
Let me see. Hold on.
Then I guess we all got problems today. Huh?
Well, I definitely have problems. I'm working on them though, mother effer.
Your anger has been getting better. You haven't went off and totally shut down a whole freaking channel.
Dude, you know what's funny? You know, but it just goes to prove that podcast or that channel was toast, because in the algorithms, we're getting the same numbers on this channel that we were with 7,000 that we were with 57,000 the other one. All right, but that's as much time I'm spending on that.
Yeah,
Paul,
you don't want to go on Hulk.
Yes, sir.
What is, in your opinion, what is the biggest issue?
Hold on.
No. Okay, what?
Well, are you about to just jump right into this one? I kind of want to set this up.
No, set it up. Do your thing.
Okay, great. So, reason why we're bringing this up, I like that. You call me Bubba. So, reason why I brought this up is because a couple of reasons. We've discussed this a couple of times about therapy and mental stuff like that, and just getting things taken care of through life. Mm-hmm. And last month was November was Men's Mental Health Awareness Month.
Yep. And
I'm on TikTok a lot. I ought to scroll to TikTok.
Some would say too much, but yeah.
Yeah, no, actually, no. I agree. I had to cut back some. And because of that, I came across a video. I'm not going to show the video here, but it was a great video. It was a lady. She was asked a question to the men. Men, why don't you reach out and ask for help? Or who do you reach out and ask for help when you're at your lowest? And she told people to stitch the video, and a lot of men stitched it and said, no one. They don't reach out when they're at their lowest. They don't reach out to no one. And the answers were disturbing, but understandable, and because of where as society has brought us to. So, and for myself, even this past month or two, I've been kind of fucking emotional. Not like psychotic emotional or anything like that. Like I'm gonna hurt myself, but I'm 40 years old. Adam, you're about to be 40 this month. Lyndon, you're 30 in your 30s or 30.
Yep.
So
30s. And
as society, we've been taught as men, you're the protector, provider, the person who has to basically be that rock and suck it up, buttercup, and they strap suit up and boot up and go out there and men don't cry and all that shit like that, the stereotypical stuff that's supposed to be masculine, but they put so much pressure. They've put so much pressure, I feel, and it has broken us down as men, the masculinity, I feel. Even myself, I've cried, like, what the fuck's going on with me? Am I because I'm getting older? I've been holding a lot of shit in, or what? And I was like, no, I process emotions and feelings and shit right now properly, rather than just like let it eat at me. So because of this whole thing, I'm like, this is a great topic that we have to discuss, seeing that this podcast was made, even with the whole creation of this podcast was based around that kind of.
Yeah, podcast for men.
Yeah,
basically.
Because a lot of men don't have places to, you know, go and release and the proper way, because there is a proper way.
Mm-hmm.
So even with the name of Socially Awkward Podcast, I feel that is so. That's when we brought it up, and you said, "Hey, I like this one." I was like, "That makes so much fucking sense." Because if it's a podcast for men, about men, from the point of view of men,
yep,
men are the most socially awkward people out there.
Because we really don't talk about a lot of stuff.
We don't. It's taboo to talk about your fit. It's always been taboo. I won't say it is, but it's always been taboo to talk about your feelings. When I do these quotation marks, I say that because it's people have been other men have been ridiculed about this. So the fact that people think are looked at as have been looked at as weak, and men has been looked at as weak and just like soft when they do this means a lot. So 1 second, can you turn it down some?
What's up?
Adam,
the music.
Oh, is it too loud?
A little
Just
bit.
turn down a little bit.
So
I should have said something sooner, because on my end I can barely hear it. So
it was fine, but it sounded like it started to go louder. Like, okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
On the song.
But
is that? I mean, is that? Are we good now?
No,
or no?
You're good.
Oh,
You're
yeah,
good.
Yeah, if it ever bothers you, just let me know.
Okay. And I'm about to wrap my part up real fast, but no, it's just
Take your time, man. We got all kinds of time.
So even with this, it's just like the whole fact that the Socially Awkward Podcast is the perfect place, because we as men have need a safe haven, need a place where we can basically talk about men stuff, masculinity, and things like that properly, and not be tore down, negatively, because that's one of the things I believe that people relate that shit to when they go to, oh, well, yeah, we can't talk about our feelings or how we feel or how something's affecting us, because it's not supposed to happen like that.
Yeah.
So this whole like mental and men's mental health awareness month, it just really, I started really thinking about it. Now I was hesitant to even do it on TikTok. I was like, I'm not gonna do it on TikTok. First I was like, yeah, I'll put it out there, but like, nah, that's not my platform to do that on. And then I was like, I see men being vulnerable like that and letting people know, and it opened my eyes, like, that's fucked up. Like, I had a proper outlet back in the day. I learned how to do it properly and how to connect with men. And I have men in my life that I'm able to do that with. But most people don't. Most people don't know who to do that with or how to do it, or even the proper way to do it, a healthy way to do it. They just keep the shit bottled in till it eats them up. And then it fucks the head up. So when they had the whole creation of a men's mental health month, it should be all year round. But still, I get what the whole purpose of.
But no one does anything. A men's mental health month. It's not like Pride Month. I mean, we're not out there going on. We're not actually out there talking about it or having parades. It's just they say the month exists, but no one does anything.
Correct. And that's why I want to bring this up, because I don't expect a fucking parade. Honestly, I mean, and most men, we don't expect a fucking parade. Us as men, we've always been like, a thank you is good enough. Let's just say thank you.
Well, okay. Let me ask you this then. So, if the men's mental health, obviously, we need everyone's mental health to be as good as we want everyone's mental health to be good.
Yep.
But it feels like in this day and age, just to kind of go off what you're saying, it's tricky for me, because I want to be all in on the being in touch with your emotions and shit. But at the same time, like, is there a line, or am I just being a caveman here? Is there a thin line between being emotional or being in tune with that stuff and just being some sort of soft beta that cries too damn much? Because me as a man, I mean, look, I do not think it's healthy to hold stuff anger in, to hold when you're being slighted, or if you're being in some sort of relationship. You shouldn't just have to suck it up. Let's say if it's a physical or mentally abusive relationship or some shit like that, you shouldn't have to suck that up. But as a man, I don't know, like to a certain degree, I kind of enjoy sucking things up. Like I want to strengthen my skin, you know, metaphorically speaking. Like I want thick skin, you know, I want to be able to like handle a lot of responsibility and handle when someone talks shit to me and handle just myself as a man. But I'm not sure that's even the same thing what you're talking about.
It's not. Go ahead.
It's more. So this is something that I think I feel when it comes to men's mental health, I think this is a conversation that needs to happen more, and not just for men, but mental health for everybody. Because, for instance, I think this was like probably 2 years ago. A classmate I went to school with took his own life. And nobody knew why, because he was like fine, like totally fine. And then it like makes you realize like mental health is very important because you don't know what's going on. And I think in this age today, men get stereotyped for if you show emotion or if you show you have problems, you're not a man at all.
Yeah, people like me making these jokes.
Like you're not a man at all if you're like showing emotions or stuff like that. Like a man has to be strong, tough, all that, which I totally disagree with. That's not even remotely true. A thing about men is the thing that gets in our way is pride, because we don't want to talk about a lot of things, and that's where we end up holding it in, and it makes us react to certain things in a different way. Even if it's something that's so small that shouldn't really trigger us, it's from whatever we've held on to from our past. It just sets off in our head, and we're like, you know what? Today's the day. You about to get fucking gone. Like,
dude, I've held a lot of shit in, and you know, I've been going to therapy for the last month. As much shit as I've seen and dealt with growing up, I've never once came close to blowing up and killing anybody. or you know, I've bottled a lot of shit up. Look, and I'm slightly just playing devil's advocate, just so we're not, you know, just because so we can see both sides of the coin. I know men need to talk about stuff, and we don't need to bottle shit up. At the same time, I mean, you gotta be a man, no?
So I get what you're saying, and both of you guys, and then your own point, Adam, I get what you're saying about, you know, don't you want to be able to suck it up, or like and when we say suck it up, it doesn't mean like not do it healthy. You're saying you be successful or something like that, or accomplish shit in life, and like not just like what's the word I'm looking for? Not just fucking let it, not just be a pussy. Basically, I mean, for lack of better words, it's like that's a bad choice of word. I would say not, you know, not suck it up, but it's more of like okay, I got to get through this. Like I like you're building something, accomplishing shit.
Yep.
That is, am I on the right path? What you're saying?
Yeah. Look, I think what it is for me, I think we're actually arguing two different things here, and I think it kind of feels like I'm arguing against what you're saying, and I'm not. I think two things can be true at once. I think that as men, we can be stable, more kind of reserved, just kind of, you know, like an alpha man, and not cry about every little thing and not be some little beta, but at the same time, be able to be sensitive when you need to certain subject. Being a man is all of it. It's not, because one thing that I don't like that gets thrown towards men is that masculinity, and me and you talked about this our first couple episodes, DePaul, that masculinity gets lumped in a lot of times as being toxic, and that just drives me fucking crazy, because true masculinity is not toxic. True masculinity is being a protector, a provider, a quote unquote kind of tough guy, but not using that in any kind of way that hurts anyone. It's like having the ability. Jordan Peterson brings up of this. He says it all the time, something to the effect, and I'll butcher it, but it's something like this, that you should recognize that you have like a monster inside of you and not try to suppress that. Like you should own the fact that you're capable of doing bad things, but then having the wherewithal and the discipline to not do those things. Because whenever you try to suppress, and then to your point, you try to suppress feelings, you try to suppress anger, that's not a good idea either. So, I mean, I completely agree with you guys. We need outlets, a podcast, a fucking punching bag, go get some anger out. You know, you can't sit there and just hear things online or hear shit said about you yourself or just men in general and bottle that shit up and freak out on your wife and kill her one day.
Here's the thing. The common thing I think is always told is that you know go to therapy, talk to somebody, you know, this and that. That's always the first thing that gets thrown out. But you know, people need to realize therapy doesn't work for everybody.
Correct. Well,
It does not work. It works for.
I agree and don't agree.
Well, it's kind of like a half and half, and this is
it works.
This is kind of like my point of view because I think I've been told so much from my own family to go to therapy because I hold a lot of stuff in and I don't talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like I don't, and it's not that I don't want to go to therapy and talk about it. It's I just choose not to because.
Is it pride?
It's not pride. It's just a simple.
That's what it was for me for a long time.
It's just a simple fact. Like I could do this and do therapy, but is it really going to like change anything? Because and these are things that I've probably suppressed down like from years and years and years, and I've honestly have learned to find a different way to deal with it. So usually, because I would always probably be like irritated with a lot of crap that happens.
Okay.
Like one thing that goes on, it would like trigger me, and I would find myself taking it out on my wife and not meaning to. It's like when you hold stuff in, you accidentally take it out on somebody you're not meaning to take it out on.
And you don't think an unbiased third party could help with that?
It's not that I don't think. It's the fact that if I do therapy, it's like in my head I'd be like, I want to play like reverse psychology with you so bad because I know you have your own psychologist and you hear me talk.
Me and you are a lot alike, dude. Listen, I had the same kind of reserve. Like I actually told Katrina for a long time. I'm like, listen, what the hell is she gonna say to me? I already know when I walk in, I'm smarter than this chick. I mean, I'm kind of joking, but I mean, I said that. I had because here's the thing, and so Paul, maybe you could back me up or disagree with this because you've been to therapy as well, right? You said you have that therapy. Like I keep waiting for this like aha moment or like some deep, profound thing she tells me that's like, oh my God, that fixes everything. For me, me personally, it hasn't worked like that. For me personally, it's literally just saying things out loud that you say to yourself all the time to someone that has no skin in the game. Just doing that alone, I haven't experienced. She hasn't said anything. Oh, there's my brother Matt. Get him in there.
To give you a aha moment.
Yeah. So, what's up, Matt? Can you hear us? All right, we'll remove him for a second. So, you good?
So we'll give him a minute. Take him back out real fast.
All right. So, like for me, it wasn't some big aha moment. It's literally just saying like obvious things out loud to a stranger, and it just a subtle weight comes off of your shoulders. It's not like a big dump off where all of a sudden you like feel exalted and you're like, oh my God, my life's just changed. It's like a subtle, slow trickle of weight that comes off your shoulder, and before you know it, you're like, holy shit, man! Like I just feel better. And so it's not about outsmarting her trying to outsmart you. You're literally just talking to somebody, and it really feels good.
So here's the thing about therapy: it's an outlet. Doesn't mean that you have to go to a office with someone to talk about your feelings and get in touch with their feelings, or well, how does that make you feel? What do you think about that? All they're doing is prying to get you to realize something that you have been holding out and be getting you to analyze shit, because they really don't have to. That's called psychiatrists. what you're talking about. So that's what you're thinking. Oh, that old profound aha. I mean, you can talk to yourself. All a therapist does is like they're there, like you said, get the third party for you just to talk, and this. Now, I want something that Lyndon said. Therapy doesn't work for everybody. Yes and no. It's the type of therapy. There's different outlets of therapy. Some can actually go shooting, and that's that's therapeutical. Some can play video games, and that's therapeutical. So whatever it is, it's the different type of therapy that will work for you.
Now you're giving Lyndon an excuse to just go play video games and say he's working on his marriage.
No.
I'm just joking.
I understand. I understand what the Paul's talking about because, and I'll kind of give you a little inside story. So, my parents have been divorced for probably close to, let's say they got divorced in 2008. So it's like somewhere around, it's over the 10-year mark that they've been divorced.
Lennon.
Yo.
Before you come out, I feel you about to go deep on this one. Hold on. Adam, the thing that you was talking about earlier, whether being when you feel like you achieve something, I was saying you feel like you achieve something. Problematic versus solution oriented. That's what I was trying to say. Problematic versus solution oriented. As a man, most men, if you're problematic, it's like you're crying, you're bitching, like, oh, this is a victim mentality. Rather than being solution oriented, strapping your boots up and getting shit done and just like suck it up, buttercup. That's what people are think about. But solution oriented isn't just like, oh, toughen up and don't cry, this and this. It's finding a solution that's healthy, that's positive, that's going to work. Rather being somebody who like, I'm a victim, like, crying about every fucking little thing and everything, woe me. But I was wanting to touch on that one. But sorry, Lyndon, all yours.
Oh, no, you're good. You're all good, dude. You're all good. So anyway, and I'll keep it like short, sweet, to the point. My parents been divorced for 13 years now. I have to do the math on that. So it's been like 13 years. So they got divorced in 2008. At that time, I was 16. So, about to turn 16 later that year. Because they got divorced in September 2008. So I was turning 17 like the next 2 months. But prior to that, I lost a very best friend in a car accident, which this person was like the first person I ever fell in love with. So I was kind of already dealing with emotions from that. Then my parents getting divorced brought even more emotions. Then the following year, 2009, was like my best friend's mom passed away. She was like my second mom outside of my mom. And so I had like all this culmination of like feelings, emotions. I didn't really know how to act. And I never really acted out, but everybody noticed there was a change in me and they couldn't figure out what it was. So for me, my scapegoat or therapy was music for the longest time. Like anytime I listen to a song, like, and I just truly listen to the words of the song, it's like I can relate to it. And that's all I always do with music now is just like if I listen to the word, like I listen to the song for the words. Like I don't listen to it for the beat. I just like listen to the words to see if it's like, oh shit, this is like
music's powerful, man. Music will, like, depending on what mood you're in, it'll fuck you up. Matt, do you have an overhead fan on by chance?
It's funny that
it's raising a barn, I swear.
It's funny you said music. It's because like I didn't realize I didn't like music until
much better. Thank you.
I had my first heartbreak, and that was funny because I realized how powerful music was from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. There was an episode when Will had his heart broken, and he talking about the songs, just listening to the songs, and the songs was literally speaking to him. I was like, and when I had my heart broke, I was like, no shit. like this song starts speaking to you, and it was therapeutical. So yes, and whether it was rage, whether it was put you in a good mood, whether you was happy, whether it was sadness, yeah, that's therapy. Yeah, absolutely.
So, Lyndon, whenever you said that you would listen to music, were there certain artists that you kind of honed in on, or that today you still look back and realize they were like go-tos?
So
Biggie, can't you see? Sometimes
no,
your words just
no, no, no,
hypnotize
no.
me.
So
I'm so racist.
the artist, no, 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 no.
How's that reason?
So artists,
I'm-
so basically who I would listen to. So back when I was probably like 16, I was big in like conservative Christian music. So I would listen to anybody from like Thousand Foot Crutch to Skillet to um
FF,
Fireflight.
FFH.
Um, yep,
One
Hawk
of these
Nelson.
days we're gonna fly
But
over
honestly,
a mountain.
but the artist I listened to the most was Skillet back then because they just have certain songs that I'm just like, well, damn, this is me in a nutshell.
What kind of music is that? I've never heard of that.
You wouldn't like him, Adam.
Christian alternative. Christian alternative is what it
Hey,
is.
Matt, yeah,
Yeah.
get closer to the mic. There.
Yeah. So Adam calls anyone that's not Eminem emo. So
Yeah,
Shut the
exactly.
fuck
like,
Well-
so I saw like 1,000 Foot Crutch, Mercy Me, like it was a big
Yeah.
concert they had out in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Every band there, Adam would call emo today. So
Yeah.
Matt,
Well,
I don't
listen
think
to
you're.
emo
I don't
bands
think you're
too.
using that microphone. I don't think that's the one you're using. You might want to check the settings on your StreamYard.
Like
Yeah,
I
I'll
listen
say
to
that
emo
Yeti
too,
sounds
so
horrible.
like My Chemical Romance and like Panic at the Disco I would listen to, but honestly it would just be different songs that would just hit on the radio and I'm just like finding myself like, dang man.
The reason-
And just to give you an instance of how bad it got, it's like one day because I did marching band, and so that was kind of my escape was doing marching band, in sort of a sense. But during the divorce, it's like there was one day at practice, and my best friend for like over 20 something years like noticed something was up with me. He was like, "Dude, look, I know something's wrong with you. Like you gotta fucking tell me what's going on." Because he knew that my parents were getting divorced, but he didn't know like how I was feeling about it. And I just told him, I was like, dude, like. And I think this was the first time I ever encountered having suicidal thoughts. Was at that point. And that's something people don't talk about. They're gonna be like, "Oh, you want to?" I was like, "Look, if I didn't listen to music as much as I did, I would not still be on this earth. I don't know what to tell all y'all." So music, anything I've done in my life, I credit to music because it saved my life. Because there's times, even as I'm 30 now, there's been times where I've always still had suicidal thoughts because shit has just been difficult and complicated. And it's like, I'm done. I'm over it. It's like, I don't want to deal with this shit anymore. And like, when people hear that, it's like, well, what's going on? It's like, you're not going to understand. Like, I'm not going to tell you.
Maybe people would understand more than you would think, though. I mean, like a
That's
lot of people have been through a lot of shit, dude.
Yes.
Yeah, but here's the thing: they try to make it into them instead of listening to you.
True.
And hearing you.
Well,
True.
I think that's how a lot of people communicate. Is this better, by the way?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that I think a lot of people, in trying to help other people, they try to show that they've dealt with this sort of the same type of things. So instead of listening more to your point, they do try. But I think a lot of people do try to help, and I think more people, to Adam's point, do understand than you realize. So
Matt, you're on point.
And
People
I
try
think-
to relate more than
Yeah,
just
they-
like, okay, well, that relatability, so they can actually keep you going. But sorry, Lennon, go ahead. It's like right now, I'm cutting you off.
And that's what I was thinking. It's like, because it's like most people, and it's kind of funny because it's kind of like you see yourself doing it and then you see somebody else doing it, so you're kind of like, you see both sides of it. And so like, that's why whenever I have conversations with somebody, I try not to make it about my experiences and what I've gone through, but it's more of me just like listening to them and hearing what they're saying to like give them that advice to what I can give.
You know,
And,
you know
when-
else who does exactly what you're describing?
Probably
Therapist.
you, don't you? Oh, therapy. Yeah. See, people say you should be in psychology. I'm like, hell no, I ain't doing it.
See, here's the thing. I actually did exercise one time. With I used to be in a volunteer thing. We mentored a lot of men and young men when I was like 24, and we had to exercise, and it was pretty powerful. You just had to listen to you paired up two men, and you had to listen to them. They had to tell whatever story they had to tell. Wherever it needed to get off the chest. You just sat there and listened. You're not listening to react. You were listening to listen to the story. It wasn't to like relate. It wasn't to get advice. You were listening. It was an active listening skill. That's all it was. And that's it. You made straight eye contact with him. You didn't zone out. You listened to him, that other man, actively. And by doing that, it was a therapeutical release for that one man who was telling a story. And you had to flip it up. It was like a 3-minute exercise, and then you flipped, you switched, and afterwards, the man, once the 3 minutes, the time was up, the man that listened says thank you. And the reason for that is like, thank you for not burdening me, but unloading and allowing me to listen. So it was an exercise. It was pretty fucking powerful because, one, it helps with that mental state. Two, it actually teaches you as well to how to listen without having to respond. And just listen to somebody. Because sometimes people just need you to listen. Sometimes men just need you to listen and not respond, just to hear what they're going through. Yep. Because we're so used to have somebody going to either respond to what we have to say, either in a negative or positive. Like I'm saying, oh yeah, I went through that. I remember that happened to me one time. That's great. This ain't about you. I just need you to fucking listen. And we got to a point that we started telling people, hey, man, I just need you to listen. And we had a scale level, like you need 1, 2, 3, or whatever. I just need you to listen. Okay, great. You want advice? No? Okay, here you go. Listen, I'm listening.
Yeah.
I'd rather pay somebody $170 a month or a week and go do that to somebody I know.
Why? Because it created a lot of good bonds for me.
Dude, I had an instance, I think this was probably about like 4 or 5 years ago, where I told one of my friends, like, dude, look, I just need you to listen. I don't need you to give me advice, nothing. I just need you to listen. Just let me vent. He's like, bro, vent. I'm listening. Like, let it all out. And vice versa. When I've had a bunch of my other friends like message me, they're like, look, I need to vent and I don't have nobody else to talk to about this. I'm like, get it out. I'm listening. Yeah. I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm like, I'm just listening. And if you need me to say something, tell me. I'll say something. You know, and so this and it's like there's many, like, for instance, so like back in criminal justice when I was studying, one thing that we learned was about coping mechanisms, right? And when we go through something, we all find different ways to cope with it, in a sense. So, you know, so each person's coping mechanism can be different. So, like for me, if I'm going through something or dealing with something, the way I coped with dealing with my stress and frustration, I would do chewing tobacco. Like I didn't smoke, none of that. Chew.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Tobacco. Yeah. I didn't, because smoking, all that stuff, I just stopped. And drinking, I don't drink that much anymore. So that would always be my coping mechanism, was if I'm stressed out, frustrated, I just buy a can and put it in, and like I wouldn't feel stressed. And I've been doing that for like since age 17. And it's kind of like on and off when I do it and not do it. But for other people, drinking is their like coping, or smoking weed is their coping. It's like everybody has a different coping mechanism to deal with certain situations that happen in their life.
Matt, didn't you? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Adam.
No, I thought you were winding down. My bad. Matt, weren't you in some sort of like men's group a while back? You were telling me about, like, you guys get together once a week or once a month and talk. It was like a dad's group or something like that.
Yeah. So, so two things. I was in something first. Is that one thing I learned when I was in the Marine Corps was that your mental health and your physical health are hand in hand. So, a lot of people nowadays will, especially men. There's a reason why men have the highest suicide rates, especially in the suicide rate in the military is very high too. But one thing they taught us when we were going through like suicide prevention courses and stuff was that can you hear me okay? That a lot of times if you're feeling down, depressed, whatever, even if you just go out and go for a walk, me and Adam have talked about this many times, where we find ourselves in these ruts where we'll stay up till 2 a.m. playing Call of Duty back-to-back nights, sleep in, like it's just so, like you get to a point to where I think men were built to be physical creatures, like protectors, leaders, and then we went so long where, especially nowadays, where we're being emasculated, like they try to strip all that away from us, that we do get into a depressed state. Like, and there's a reason why a lot of guys, when a group of guys get together, a lot of times they'll go play basketball, or they'll do different types of activities that normally where there's some sort of activity where it's physical. But Adam, to your point, is it's every Thursday, and we all get together, and it's all based around the Bible, regarding how to be a good father, how to be a good leader, and whatnot. But it was like one of the best experiences I've ever been through. Literally, just hearing everyone else's stories, going through like scripture and how it relates to who you should be as a. Like, it was really good. Yeah.
Let's go around the room. DePaul, what do you think is the number one problem men face as far as like the number one cause of men's mental health issues right now in this country?
Not having an outlet, a positive outlet to do it with other men. Just the burden. The number one I would believe is the burden of society that is put on men around how we should be, and that stigma. Because I mean, I know there's no like one word, so it's just like that's in whole. I feel that's the number one thing, because it's a lot of pressure that's up on us, and we're like, okay, we have to do this, we have to do this, and if you don't do this, you're a failure, or if you don't do this, you're a deadbeat, or if you don't do this,
who's
you're
telling
not a
them
man.
that stuff? Like you say society, but
So
who's saying this stuff?
When I say
What
society,
is
it's,
this about
it's
men?
as a collective. Actually, that's where that toxic masculinity part comes in. And hold on. There's more to it. It's not just other men, but actually no. Yeah, toxic masculinity right there. That's where that comes from. Because if you tell another man that's trying his fucking damnedest and trying his fucking hardest that he's not good enough, that will fuck somebody up.
DePaul,
Because
I don't think men came up with that term. I think that was
No.
toxic feminists.
I'm not saying they came up with that term. I'm telling you, from my perspective, that's what toxic masculinity is. When you have to fucking tear a man down because you think that he's not good enough, because he's not on your level. That's toxic masculinity. You don't tear another man. You have to tear a man down to build them up sometimes if they're that fucked up. I agree with that. But if you care about them, but to tear a man down just for the fuck of it, because you feel that, oh, they can do more. If that man's giving his all, you don't know what that man's been through. You don't know what the fuck his life has been. You don't know what shoes he's walked. And if you got to tear another man down to build yourself up and to feel better, that part right there. So, but that's not. I'm not putting it all on men, each other. When I say society as a whole, having that weight from the other gender, women, like, okay, well, you have to do this, and this, and this, and this. Having all that burden, like, I gotta take care of my wife, my kids, and this. That's a given. We get that. But then having that constant on TV, you see a certain thing, you see all this shit, like the gossip and the drama and shit like that, like how they tear people down, and like, oh, this person's a piece of shit, and man ain't no good. I mean, I see so much shit, like, you don't. We'll go into more. I know you want to go around, so, but yeah, I would say society on this one, because there's another part I want to touch on too, because that really pisses me off and bothers me the fuck out of something that just, like, I think has a big contribution to men's mental health. Just for the fact that the perception of men when it comes to what's the fucking one is it? How someone telling another gender how they're supposed to fucking be. That pisses me off.
Well, first of all, I'm not one of those people who says, well, you've never played basketball, so you can't speak on that. Like, I hate that kind of mentality when people think just because you're not you've never done a thing that you couldn't possibly understand, or that you don't know someone who's been through that, or that you just couldn't figure it out yourself.
Yeah, I agree with that. But my thing is this: to say somebody that is because you don't think that you like, because you don't like what they're doing, even if it's not negative to you, is bad. That comes to that whole toxic masculine shit. When somebody says, "Oh, men should be doing this," I'm like, don't tell. Why do you think men should be doing this?
I think that a really bad problem in this country is the lack of the family unit being like a staple of our culture.
Took the words right out of my mouth.
I think that for some reason society, and by the way, you could ask me the same thing: who's this we you're talking about, or they? But I think that there's a certain faction of our society, like these super woke, and I'm not talking about liberals, because in some ways I'm a classical liberal. I'm talking about like far left, like woke progressives, like the people that want to defund the police and they want to open borders and all that shit. I think that there's been a push to emasculate men. I think there's been a push to take the father out of the home, or make the father less important, or make it seem like the mother and father are interchangeable, and gender roles have no place in society. I think all that shit has really hurt little boys that try to turn into men, because look, men and women are different. We're the same in a lot of ways. There's a lot of overlap, in temperament and stuff, but on average, men are different than women. And here's one thing a lot of people get, they fuck up. They conflate different with better or worse. Just, we're not better or worse. We need women just as much as we need men.
Yes.
So we need each other, and we've tried to make it the man's role, and like to be the disciplinarian, to be the, to keep order when there's chaos, and to be the, I'm not saying less emotional, like as being a cold father, but being kind of like the rock. The mom is the lovey-dovey, that side of it.
The mother is the glue, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Mother's glue and dad's the rock. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
But it's all plays a very important role. I think that we need to make having strong fathers in the house like the norm, and make it to where, like, oh, you don't have a father in the home? Oh, that sucks. And because if you said that to someone now, they'd be like, what are you talking about? I'm a single mom. I'm both. Fuck you. It's like, okay. And I'm sure there's a lot of single mom. I know I have a single sister who's a single mom, and she does the best she can. She has good kids. I'm not saying they can't parent themselves, but I'm saying that's not better than having both.
Yeah. So, and I think you took exactly what I was going to say out of it, which was literally both of what you guys said. So I'll start with Adams first. So I was gonna say a broken family. Broken families are the number one thing to depression all around, because one, you have the fathers not teaching your kids how to lead, and in general, in all aspects of leading, and two, the nurturing mother. Because I think a lot of men grow up now, but they don't find someone that, if they do console them, or they actually care about their feelings. A lot of men will find women who don't care about their feelings. And so so you can have a man who didn't have a good mom too, where you don't feel that you are able to open up to another woman because they're not as nurturing as you need them to be.
Yeah.
So and a lot of men think it's, men don't cry. It's okay to cry. It doesn't make you any less masculine. But then the other side, you don't have dads who teach you how to be a good adult young man for society and do good things. Then to Ryan's piece of it, when he's talking about society, I call that social media, because you should be teaching your kids not to care about society at all. And social media has totally ripped everything apart. It's made girls think that it made them self-absorbed. They care more about themselves to be nurturing to their kids or to other people around them. It made guys open up and be unloyal, or makes both sides unloyal. But people are so self-absorbed now, where they're not giving these good characteristics and traits to their children. And whenever these kids grow up and no one taught them to not care what other people think, they go off, and then as soon as someone at school hurts their feelings, they start bringing guns to school, shooting the place up.
This is what Cardi B taught me. Cardi B taught me this. Yeah, Cardi B taught you the wrong shit to get your ass in trouble.
It's funny that you brought that up because I mean, and you're on point. Matt, like that's you brought the both of what we was talking about into one. So yes, like I do affirmations with my daughter, like every time I have her. And right now we're switching every week, but being able to work from home and honestly, I think I told you this too, Adam. This whole pandemic thing, it was a blessing in disguise because this is the most I've been in my daughter's life more than I was in my son's life because of time. I had before I was going to work. I was still there for my son. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm all about being there for my kids, and I'm still in my son's life. He's 21 now, about to be 21 next month. But the difference of parenting because of having that time and being active like how I wanted to because it's just a matter of like court order stuff. I had them every weekend, so by all means, I'm not a deadbeat dad. I'm still there for my kids. I'm a damn good father, and the being able to be there for my daughter in the sense of like being that father figure, that role model to say, hey, this is how a man's supposed to be for you, there for you. And it's not like her. I'm playing with my daughter. I can be a man can be compassionate. I'm not saying masculinity doesn't mean you can't be compassionate and you know like that. Absolutely, you can be compassionate. You can be loving. You can be tough. You can be the disciplinary. To Adam's point, the whole like men being that disciplinary and stuff like that. Naturally, instinctively, because our voice are deeper, they react to that primalness. It's like, oh, you can tell a kid that like that silverback, the bellow. Oh shit, okay, he means business. Let me go ahead and take care of his shit. Like even like to this day, my mom, I was a product of a single parent family. My grandparents was there. My dad wasn't around, and I told you about this before on our podcast. And the thing about that is that my mom would have to tell me like two or three times to do something before I did it. Not because I disrespected her, because just it was in my head. Okay, I get to it, putting it off. But let my grandfather or my sister's father or a male that I respected tell me right then, I got onto it because I'm like, oh shit, I don't want that. I want those problems. It's like fuck that. It's just like because it was that assertiveness. And I'm not saying that women don't have that. By all means, I'm not saying that. I respect my mother. I respect my grandmother. I respect all the women in my family. I love them the same way I love everyone else. They have taught me how to love women and treat women properly with all the respect, like queens that they are. So the whole thing is that just with that dynamic, there's a big dynamics. And Matt, you touched on that too. The whole family oriented thing like that. That is key. So on another note, family isn't just, I mean, shit can happen. You know, your father can die, your mom can die, and you still need somebody there. As
family doesn't always mean blood.
Exactly. Because they always say, because I'm touching to talking to people out there who maybe not have a father or something tragic happened in their life or a mother. Family is who is there for you, who truly just loves you unconditionally. A tribe is a family. Matt, you have you said you have your meetings once a month. Was it once a week or once a month?
Once a week.
Once a week. That's your family. That's your tribe. It's not your biological, but it's part of your tribe, and that helps with your mental health. Does it not?
Absolutely, yeah. I think the point, I would come, which I agree with everything you said, but the point, is from a young age, and getting someone, because it's more than just, even in my opinion, loving you unconditionally. It's like teaching you discipline and guidance. So, and then teaching you how to control your emotions. A lot of people these days do not know how to control their emotions at all, and all that should come from the family. And even that doesn't even have to be a mom and a dad. That can be someone like an uncle that you look up to, or whatever, So,
I think I had a conversation with my dad like a while back. And we were I forgot what we were talking about, but I think we might have been talking about kids nowadays with how they act. And my dad was like, boy, if I was children of one of them, I'd just send their ass straight to the military to teach them some discipline. And I'm like, you used to say that to me and your other two sons. Send us to the military to get some discipline. I'm like, yeah, you tried that. But also too, and this is about, and one thing I think, and this is about, when we talk about broken homes, a father can't teach the daughter what a mother can teach a daughter. A mother can't teach a son what a father can teach a son. They can try to show them all the things that they must do. But a woman, and this is not being bad or anything, saying a woman can't raise a son to be a man.
I agree.
They have to have that from their father, just like a father cannot teach their daughter to be a woman. They have to have it from the mother.
A
wasn't
male
sure-
role model.
Yeah.
A male role model. There we go. Male role model. We'll do it like that. Male role model.
I mean, we can't even keep the father in a conversation. This is sad.
I mean, we well, I mean,
no, that's the thing. A father, we can call a father whatever you want. I mean, it's still a father figure.
Yeah,
like I'm saying,
but,
we're not saying
I'm
because
just
some
kidding.
people, I know you are, but some people will take that seriously.
Yeah,
because I can see right now. Somebody let me clip that real fast and put it up there. See, we can't keep this and blah blah blah. And you take it to a fucking different narrative.
Yeah, like because all people are not going to understand that narrative of it, especially when you're talking about it, because they don't want to hear that truth. Like for instance, my dad didn't have his father in his life at all, and he knows. And the funny thing is, he knows his father is alive. He just doesn't reach out. He just doesn't reach out to him because he wasn't in his life. And so my dad, without knowing his father, raised 3 sons. And so. So having our dad in, my life, it's like we're able to learn those things. But, and like I've said too, everybody doesn't have that in their life because I think each person has a different walk of life. And it may be you come from a broken home. You've never really had parents in your life to understand. And I think that's one thing I've also realized when people get into relationships or marriages is those things that really come into play and show through.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know if you guys have ever been through it, but if it's like you've been as growing up, you've dealt with stuff. And then when you get into a relationship or a marriage, you see those things and you're like, what the fuck?
Dude,
see,
it took, oh, go ahead.
No. I want you to go ahead. I know where you're going to go with it.
Well, I was just going to say that it took me till about 35 because I wouldn't say I had any positive role models in the sense of like a father that set me down and talked to me about life and how to treat women and how to manage my money. I swear to God, 40 years old, I've never had that kind of conversation with my dad. So I fucked up a lot, especially with Katrina, with selfishness and anger issues. It literally took me till about 5 years ago for things to be like, okay, motherfucker, that's not the kind of person you're going to be. You're going to be different. And you're not going to ruin this fucking angel's life. She's the nicest person I've ever met in my life. And you're not going to ruin that girl's life. So, and of course, I still deal with anger and I still fuck up all the time, but I'm mindful of it. And but I had to figure it out myself the hard way. Unfortunately, Katrina dealt with a lot of that. But yeah, and as far as my kids go, and I'm almost done. As far as my kids go, I told Katrina a long time ago, if my daughters grow up, if they have issues, it will not be daddy issues. Like whatever happens, I can promise you, I will have done my job.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, so good. They're pretty good kids.
I agree with you 100% on that one. And I made a conscious decision at a young age to because not having my father there like I wanted him there. At a young age, I was like, when I say young age, I mean like single digit ages. I made a conscious decision. Like, I will be there for my kids no matter fucking what. I will, because I know how it feels not to have my father there like I wanted him there through my adolescence, my childhood, my adolescence, and I made a conscious decision, and I used everything that I didn't like as a kid to be a better parent. And I've talked to a lot of people, and even therapists say you have a unique gift. You can actually turn a negative to a positive. Fucking great, whatever you want to call it. But I use that.
Yeah, people like you turn into serial killers.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
I mean,
but he says that. But here's the thing: I know 1,000 ways to dispose of a body, Adam. So nobody will find you.
Give me a break.
yeah, but statistically, you guys never see serial killers are black. I mean, most serial killers are white. So
Yeah, y'all got that. Yeah, y'all got that. We don't need no
Yeah.
black.
Yeah, that's y'all
White
thing.
people, we kill a bunch
hold
at a
on,
time.
hold
You
on,
guys just
hold
kill
on.
each other
Hold on.
one at a time.
We did have the DC sniper whole
did have
thing.
him,
That,
yeah.
that was a father and son too. Hey, so at least
That
he didn't
was.
get dead.
In a sense,
Spending quality time.
but without the sniping.
Disclaimer: we are not laughing at death. People dying.
Well,
Yes,
nah,
we
we
are not
are.
laughing at
Stop being a
that.
pussy.
It's you don't teach your son to snipe on open people through a trunk.
Hey, did you guys just say shooting guns was therapeutic?
Yeah, it is.
In a
Shooting the
safe,
head off Whitey's very therapeutic, huh, Lyndon?
in
Actually,
a safe capacity, it is therapeutic. In a safe capacity.
Yes. In a
Even
safe
Hey,
capacity.
they were safe. They were in the trunk.
even throwing tomahawks is safe in a very safe environment.
How
Capacity.
pissed would you be, Lyndon, if I threw a tomahawk and hit you right in the back with it?
You better make sure you don't miss.
Is it
If
the
you
blunt part
miss-
or the sharp
Because
part?
if you miss and I got that tomahawk in my hand, boy, you better run.
If I throw a
It's coming straight
tomahawk,
for
it's
you.
probably gonna hit you with the blunt side and bounce off your back.
Still hurt.
Yeah.
Oh,
Hey, listen,
fuck.
Lyndon, and I promise you this: you better have a car or a gun. You're not gonna catch me on foot.
Okay, bro.
I'm out.
Cool. That's awesome.
Long striding giraffe looking ass.
I'm a speed demon in a vehicle. I'll catch up to you. I'll knock you over a little bit. I ain't gonna run over you. But I'll knock you down a little bit. So it's okay.
Oh, you guys are crazy.
Imagine the
That's
situation you have to be in that you were throwing a tomahawk at somebody, and not be from like 500 years ago.
Well, if you notice, like they're making these, like, I guess, these hatchet throwing places now
Mhm.
for people.
Actually,
to
sounds
go
kind of
to.
fun. I'm not gonna lie.
Like
You guys
Atlanta
don't-
has
you guys
them
don't have that
now.
people?
Atlanta got them now. Like you can go and throw hatchets with your friends and stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, we got this now.
Mhm.
They even have rage rooms, which was one I was going to bring up. Like here in Atlanta, they got a thing called a rage room. So if you really want to get therapy and feel therapeutic, go to a rage room because it allows you to break a whole ton of crap with the bat or whatever you're choosing.
Sledgehammer, hammers, crowbar.
Anything. You go to a rage room, you'll feel 1,000 times better. Like, oh, that felt great. I was smashing so many people's heads in that came to my thoughts.
Until you realize that the way that it's therapeutic is if you to break a bunch of shit and then you end up like Adam punching holes in walls.
Yeah. Adam, you want to do that?
I haven't done that in about 3 years.
Well, actually, it's okay. Like there's actually a hole punched in our apartment, and this was like from earlier in the year. So I got pissed off. I got pissed off at my mother, so I had to like walk away. I had to walk away, and so I went to the closet. I didn't mean to punch a hole in the wall; it just kind of happened, and I punched it. I was like, "Oh!"
You just punched and the wall was there.
I was like, "Damn it! I got to fix that now." So
Early in the year,
yeah.
it's December.
So that was like back in February when I had that happen. That was like in February. And one thing I wanted to touch on too, DePaul, because you had talked about how COVID made you, with the pandemic happening, it kind of made you like it was a blessing. So one thing I always said about COVID, it made those who were always busy working and never took time, it made them slow down.
Mm-hmm.
It made them realize like spending time with your family is important. Because most people in this life will always be finding them, or like always try to make themselves busy with work, more work on top of work and everything else. You know, for my wife, it's like that was her motion of always wanting to work and everything and not slow down, and COVID made her slow down. Then the sucky side was the following year of her getting cancer, which I think was just shitty all this year together, because that's been its own emotional roller coaster ride. When your spouse, you know, is diagnosed with cancer and it's like emotions are in a fucking whirlwind, to say the least. You know, and they say, "Oh, you got support groups." Me. It's like you got support groups you can talk with, and this and that and this and that. Well, not really wanting to talk with support groups right now, because I mean, it's just hard and difficult. Like the radiation and chemo she had to go through, like the effects it caused her even like 3 days. It was like so hard to see and watch. And so, with that, it's like, man, I'm like so over fucking 21, and I was over last year. And so, but yeah, cancer is like really, it really takes a lot mentally out of you.
Yeah, no, I agree. I fucking this shit. So I found out my dad had cancer too, and like I said, I wasn't that close with my dad, but we made amends and talked, and like, okay, cool. I mean, I still love all my family, and the fact that he had cancer, I was like, oh shit, okay, I still got to deal with that. But no, I get what you're saying. It takes a toll on you. So I can imagine
Like I tell
what you're
people,
going through.
I tell people mentally, you don't want to know what the fuck's going on in my head. Stay away from it because you don't want to know.
Yeah.
Because if I told you, you'd be looking at me like, oh shit. So okay, never mind. All right, I'll come back next year. I'll check that out.
Dude, cancer terrifies me. If I lost like my wife to cancer, that'd probably be the one thing besides like one of my kids. I may blow my head off. I don't know.
Shut the fuck up.
Prob-
And fuck, Lyndon, if you ever need somebody to talk to, just put it out there too. Hit me up in Discord if you want a number. You can call me up.
I will.
Don't call Adam.
Well, see, Adam said the one thing about if it ever came to cancer, he would lose his wife, bro. That is the thought I have every fucking day.
If Adam's wife died of cancer, he'd be broke.
He can always switch to prostitution. He'll make it.
That white chocolate right there. Come here, white chocolate.
First of all, I won't tell anyone she died for about a month. I can get about 40 grand in 1 month. That'll set me up for a little while.
Shut the fuck up.
Hey, that's a serial killer talking right there. Ever watch that TV show Snapped? You ever watch that TV show Snapped? Yeah, Adam will be on the next episode.
Hey, if Katrina dies, I'm not telling anybody. She's just gonna magically stop putting out content, and I'll just ride that OnlyFans down to the dirt.
You're stupid.
Or just keep doing like a bunch of old videos.
Yeah, let's keep recycling them.
I've seen these before.
It's like,
No, you haven't.
what happened?
Residual, baby, residuals.
But
I mean, what do you guys think? That's an hour.
Yeah, it's great topic. I enjoyed this. I mean, we can go on and on about this, but yeah, I mean, it is an hour, but mental health is important for everybody. We want to bring up for men because last month was Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, and you don't realize how important mental health is until it hits you. You usually we always go, and we don't deal with shit until it's too late.
It doesn't matter what age either,
and it's important.
Really doesn't.
It's really important to deal with it. And like I said, if you need tips like that, I am not a therapist, but at the same time, there are shit out there. You can comment in there. I can tell you some tips what I do. But like just having a support line that you can talk to, say, hey, I just need to vent. I just need you to listen. And that goes a long way. And Adam, I get what you say. I'll just pay somebody $170. If you got $170 to do that, fucking do it. Great. Whatever you need to do it. But
I'm black.
For me,
I kind of spending money.
I know for me,
He just had to sneak it in there, didn't he?
I had to.
it worked.
Like I ain't got that kind of spending money, but yeah, do that, Adam.
Don't worry, dude. My rise has got about another year and a half, and this house will be some black people will be living in it. And
shut the fuck up.
It's creeping on you. It's creeping. It's getting there.
You moving them in slowly.
Ryan, I did like that you mentioned that last month was Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. What's really funny about that is that I didn't even know that. It shows
I didn't either.
The like media, the society, and all that. This is not a priority for them at all. How many months are there where there's breast cancer awareness months where they make billions of dollars and foundation and whatever, which is obviously important. But this is not a priority for anybody, and I don't think it ever has been. That's the reason why a lot of the highest suicide rate is men. So it's a point that you mentioned. I didn't even know that.
It's in the worst month too. Like what the fuck, November?
Oh yeah, you came in late on the thing. That's why. Yeah, that's why I told Adam in the beginning. That's why I wanted to do this stream because it's new month. It's December 1st, and last month was the November. So Yeah, it's important. It's important, but and I think the awareness is gonna rise, as long as we keep on talking about it and bringing it up, and let us men know that
Mhm.
just be comfortable around each other. It's
Yeah.
okay. Not everybody's out there trying to kill you. A lot of people are, but not everybody out there is trying to like take what you have
No.
as a joke. Take what you have and really like fuck you over. I mean, it sucks because that's how we view everything as a threat instead of people are actually out there to help you and support you.
I think it's just a black guy thing. I don't feel threatened at all.
Shut up, Adam.
Really?
Shut
Let's
up.
not talk about the first
Shut
time I
up,
met you, Adam.
Let's just shut up, Adam. Don't even say nothing for the rest. Shut up right now. But I will say this though, I'm kind of ending. For those watching, don't be afraid to reach out and tell somebody you need to talk.
Leave us a comment. I mean, if
Like,
it's that bad, leave us a comment. I'll roast you right here in the comment section.
like,
I have no problem.
don't be
Open up
afraid. Don't be afraid to reach out to anybody. If something's going on in your life and you feel like you have nobody to talk to, you have people to talk to.
Did we just talk?
Reach
Did we
out
just
to
start
them.
a men's mental health hotline?
We should. We should.
On
And-
streaming.
And the second thing, I'm going to say, it's sometimes okay not to be okay. Like it's like if people say it's wrong for you not to be okay, no, it's okay not to be okay.
It is. It is.
Ain't nobody on this earth perfect or anything of that nature because everybody has stuff they deal with, just like everybody has stuff they're going to take to the grave with them.
Mhm.
But it is okay not to be okay.
It is.
And first and foremost, your mental health should be your top priority.
Agreed.
So yeah, and this is why I commend those in like the sports world, like Simone Biles. I commended her. Mental health is important. Calvin Ridley left the football field. Mental health is important. Don't let what these people who watch you play sports or put you on this pedestal say, "Oh no, you're in this kind of world. You can't afford to leave out and take your mental health." At the end of the day, everybody is a human being.
My 2 cents and my advice to men, to everybody, but to men, because we're speaking about men, is mine's going to sound oversimplistic, but it goes to what Matt was saying that what they taught him in the Marines is dude, go on walks, man. Like you don't have to go out there and run, go on a walk. Instead of drinking soda all day, drink a couple glasses of water a couple nights a week. Set a nice early bedtime because your physical health, to what Matt was saying, is directly what's the word? Directly
tied to
your mental health. And I know, dude, I can eat pretty good. I can even get plenty of sleep. But if I never exercise, I mean, I go downhill quick. And as soon as like yesterday, I went for a 20-minute jog, and the first time I've done that in like a week, I'm like, oh wow, look at that! I magically have more energy. Like it's not rocket science. Life comes down to a couple different really simple things. Try not to eat like shit. Try to at least walk, some exercise, and try to get some sleep. If you do those three things, that goes a long way. And I know there's a lot more issues in those three things, but I'm saying as a baseline, if you're not doing those three things on a regular basis, all the other stuff gets compounded quickly and harshly.
Yep, I agree.
I agree with that.
Is that
Matt,
it?
anything? Just Matt, you got anything to touch on before we close this out?
Nope.
All right.
Appreciate you guys inviting me.
Hey, thanks for showing up.
Won't be the last time.
Well, guys, another one in the books. Great topic. I love these. These are great. This just gives us a great place to talk about things that are not being talked about. So
that should be talked about more.
Yeah.
And guys, last thing, don't go anywhere after the music. I'm gonna get a thumbnail.
Okay.
All right.
So with that said, guys, if this is your first time checking out the one of our videos, please do us a favor, hit that like button and also that big red button below. And next to it is a little bell. Click that. Hit that. That's the all button. So anytime we go do a video or any content, and in the future go live, YouTube will send you a notification saying, "Hey, Socially Awkward Podcast is going live, and you want to check this out." So with that, yeah, man. Until next one, another one of the books.
Later,
Thanks
guys.
for
Bye-bye.
showing up.
Peace
And
out, guys.